Nothing Happens, and in Just Like That, which is a show that Sara Ramirez had a major character on named Che Diaz. Now, her relationship with Hollywood is about as functional as her character's relationship with Miranda on the show.
Spoiler alert. They broke up.
Now it appears that Ramirez and her Che Diaz are breaking up with the show. Her character's never been super popular with fans, and she's had a disastrous interview with The Cut last summer. She called out execs on social media for the show, but the Daily Mail says none of that is why she is leaving. Sources tell the Mail that her character is annoying, to quote, and no longer has value since the relationship story ended. It's a tough time for Sara Ramirez, who was also leaving Grey's Anatomy right before she started with And Just Like That. And Grey's Anatomy is something that I followed forever just to show you how gay I really am. And Shonda Rhimes has an open door policy. So any of the characters who leave are always welcome to come back, except for a few. And Sara Ramirez has made that list of like 3 or 4 characters that are OG characters. Katherine Heigl's also on the list that will never be invited back to the show. What do you think in the sense of we're losing a non-binary LGBTQ plus queer human being and that representation in a major HBO Max streaming show? It hurts.
It's bad in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But as far as its relationship with the show, and my relationship with that show,
I know. You're not an And Just Like That stan.
I'm not. I'm old school Sex and the City. I feel that it was a show of its moment. I feel that, those characters, and it's nice to revisit them.
What was your favorite season or episode of Sex and the City? The original.
Yeah.
Because I already know mine off the top of my head.
I forget the season number, but it was
okay.
What struck me was the season right after 9/11, and the way they addressed it, it wasn't maudlin. They tried to be the way that ladies from that place would be, and all they said was, someone was like, "We're going to go shopping," and say, "Well, we should go spend it uptown or downtown where they need it," and I was just like, that is just an example of how they set the tone for whatever the mood was going on without delving too far into specific things. I loved that. It was that great kind of writing. The second movie was terrible. It's not
The second movie was for the fans. It was for the fans.
Well, what fans? To piss them off?
Listen, Sex in the Desert is fine
to
me. Just lay a towel down.
It's Sex and the City.
Yes.
You leave the city, you're missing a major character.
It was Sex in the Middle East.
It was Sex in the Middle East.
That is what it should have been called. But you can't say that you were mad at Samantha's sexual deviance in that second movie, because she was hooking up with that hot guy who drove with that Jeep into the... I was wet, and I don't even have the equipment for that, but I was. For me, it was Samantha when she lived in the meatpacking district in that fabulous apartment, and the drag queens were screaming obscenities up to her window, and she wound up throwing water on them, and then they came back for her even harder. And then at the end of the episode, I think it was a season finale, they all partied together on the roof. So I loved seeing that representation early on. So shout out to Sex and the City for always kind of keeping the gays happy, and shout out to Sex and the City 2 for not.